So you've seen an entrepreneurial bent of mine,
Yes, sir.
right? So why MBA?
MBA is a channel that will increase my thinking towards strategical thinking and business planning.
So tell us more about this VAG bike.
It is a e-bike, self-sustained e-bike that works on renewable sources of energy, that is solar, piezo, wind and dynamo.
So from a business point of view, how will you convince a potential buyer to go for an electric vehicle or an e-bike over a normal vehicle?
That is firstly the carbon footprint. If he is an enthusiast to save the world and all, we can show the carbon footprint.
Why do you want to do your MBA program from our institute?
Considering the peer-to-peer learning, considering the case studies that you bring in, considering the different aspects, the co-curricular things that I want to experience.
Okay, Vaibhav, can you tell us something about yourself?
Yes, sir. My name is Vaibhav Gala. I am recently graduated from Mechanical Engineering, BTech Mechanical Engineering, and with a minor of Entrepreneurship in May 2024. I have also been a part of a student body team, that is a Formula racing car, Orion Racing India, around for 18 months. Also, to tell about myself, I have been keenly interested in chess since a long time. It has been a part of my life, and also I have made a self-sustained bike, that is an innovation co-founded by four of the team. So we took that in Maker Mela, that is we placed it there for 2 consecutive years. Also, we have been placing that in Australian competition, that is the Infusion Grand Challenge competition, and we have received a funding for it as well.
And what do you intend to do with that funding?
We have made a prototype at that moment itself. We have submitted that to the college. They have been happy to hear about us, but we couldn't make it in the top 5. We made it in the top 20, and we are planning to bring in some technical innovations soon, but we are currently focused in everyone's particular career.
So tell us more about this VAG bike.
So VAG, it is a name based on tiger, and also it is a a short form of 4 of our team members and a mentor, that is A for Anju ma'am. So VAAGH. So it tells us the aggressive nature of our project, and also to tell you about more about VAG, it is a e-bike, self-sustained e-bike that works on renewable sources of energy, that is solar, piezo, wind and dynamo. So it stores the battery of all the energies into a 24-volt battery, and then we can run it.
So what is the highest speed it can achieve?
It reached till 45, but the motor suggests that it can reach up to 80. It is upon the weight that we have put in because of the solar panel. It is placed as an umbrella over the cycle, so it can save you from the outdoor dust and all, and it cannot. So that is the weight that is reducing its speed to 45 or 50.
So it's an electric vehicle.
Electric vehicle.
And what is your viewpoint about the future of EVs in India, the general ecosystem?
If we say the EVs that are coming in India, it is a very vast field that will come in India. It is a major change because currently when we saw the carbon emissions from vehicles, petrol vehicles and diesel vehicles, we ourselves were shocked about the carbon emission they are putting in, and the number of vehicles that are run in India, it is a very vast one. So that's why EV should come in, because the carbon emission, the carbon footprint that comes in is a bit lesser as compared to the petrol, and also the energy that is depleting the fossil fuels and all, it will be a good solution to it.
But what about the carbon footprint that the production of the batteries and the other subsequent materials that go into the construction of an electric vehicle?
We calculated that, because when we brought it in the Australian competition, we had to present it as a project that is feasible in the future to for production as well. So we had calculated all the solar carbon footprint of petrol vehicle and electric vehicle from the manufacturing, from the start of the start of the energy resource. So it was far less. It was around 0.6% of carbon fuel vehicles.
How much would that be in terms of kgs of CO2?
It is around 18 kgs of CO2 for manufacturing of a car, and it is around I don't know the exact, but the battery that had made, that is 60% of 18.
So how many kgs roughly go into the production of VAG? How many kgs of
Production
CO2?
of VAG is very less. It is around 3 to 4, because it is a e-bike. if we are calculating an e-vehicle that consumes a lot of energy.
What is the difference between VAG and a typical e-vehicle?
It is around 6 to 7 kilojoules per vehicle.
So it's good for India.
Very good for India. Moreover,
why is it not happening more?
It is happening more, but the main setback that is coming in the speed of it, and also it is happening because the traffic congestion is increasing in Mumbai and as well as India. It is happening, but it is at a slower pace. So around 2030, we are expecting around 1.5 lakhs vehicles on road in India of e-bikes.
And are e-bikes or e-vehicles more expensive than regular vehicles?
Initial cost is more because of the battery cost and all. We had used a normal battery that we are using in cars, but if we use lithium-ion batteries, that is far less in weight as well as in space. So it costs more as compared to the normal battery.
So from a business point of view, how will you convince a potential buyer to go for an electric vehicle or an e-bike over a normal vehicle, a petrol-based or a CNG-based vehicle?
So there are many advantages that we can show him. That is, firstly, the carbon footprint. If he's an enthusiast to save the world and all, we can show the carbon footprint. If he's more inclined towards fitness and all, we can show that the cycle you can pedal as well, and you can switch it to e-bike in 5 or 10 seconds just by pressing a button. So that will also increase the fitness awareness in India, and people can commute to offices by cycles and also change the gear and switch to e-bikes when they are sweating or so, because they want to maintain the personality and maintain the
So
clothing.
why is this not happening more in the country? This type of a vehicle which can switch between a cycle and a bike?
It is happening. Mainly the lack is because of research based. So many companies are coming in. Many companies are directly going into e-bike sector, but they are not coming into conversion rate because of the weight of the cycle, as well as people are not so friendly now because they have not experienced it. But if we market it or we can show them the advantages, it is a very good idea to be coming in 2030 or 2035.
2035.
Yeah. The research and the product that is coming on road, it is a major change. When will it come? That can be a change.
So did you perform the research yourself, or you tied up with someone?
No, we performed it ourselves. Though the 4 of us, we had distributed our workload. So some Aryan, the person, was very creative in it. So he was managing the design of the cycle. Me and Garvit were more inclined toward research and development of the cycle. So we were towards there. And one more friend was Himesh. So he was too much inclined to the production of it. So he had contacts and all. So he was inclined toward that.
And who was looking after the business part of this venture?
Me and Garvit.
So you were handling both the research as well as the business
I
part.
was the team lead, so I had to manage different tasks. Also, it was the start of the idea was coming from me, so I had to.
If you had to sell VAG and launch it in the streets of a metropolitan city, what would be your business plan?
So our business plan mainly will be to reduce the cost of making. So to mention you more, we had made the conversion of cycle to e-bike in 26,000. So a normal cycle cost around 10 to 12,000. We had put in the battery, the solar energy and all in around 13 to 14,000 more. And the expense also covered the research part. That was a major role. So if we cut down the research, it can come up to 22 or 24,000. So we can sell it on road, suggesting the consumer that rather than buying a bike around 1 lakh, they can buy a 24,000, 22,000 e-bike and use it for fitness, as well as they can reduce the cost of gym as well.
And what channels would you use to sell such a product?
For start, we have to start to B2C, because we can start it from online platform. We have to raise the awareness. We have to bring in the customer that they like the product. We have to research about it. After then, we can sell that in shops. But that would be a big task. Once we achieve the branding that we have, then we can sell it to the customers from shops also, that they can buy it from there.
So you've seen an entrepreneurial bent of mine.
Yes, sir.
Right? So why MBA?
MBA is a channel that will increase my thinking towards strategical thinking and business planning. I have been into entrepreneurship. I had a minor in college, so that was also a very good learning for me. So I received many more ideas when I learned it. Means program wise. So officially I learned it was different, and when I learned it at the internship that I say, so it was a different one. I could achieve tasks at a simpler rate, but when I felt that if I learn it theoretical wise, it would be a major big difference to bring that project into action.
So you want to go opposite. You want to go from practice to theory.
I have been in practical, so I have what we say. I have been through obstacles that I cannot achieve a level that I want to bring in. So we manufacture corrugated boxes. But when we have to take it to a corporate level, so there are many challenges that I'm facing in. My dad is facing it. And I think that a professional degree will bring in more ideas in my mind, and I will learn more and can overcome that obstacles and make it into a corporate entity also.
So based on what you're saying, you want to do an MBA and then after that return to your family business or to VAG?
VAG is a what we say passion that I am learning in. So it is a what we say, it is a research based project. To bring in into real world, I'll need some help from outsiders, from some because of brand name. So it was a very good connect. They told that once you fully research the whole project, and after that you can sell it to us and we can take the production part and then we can deal with you in whatever ways they can.
So your plan is to exit from this venture
Not
by
exit.
selling it off? Or
Yes, sir.
That's the plan.
Yes, sir.
And a major plan is to utilize your business knowledge, business acumen for your family business.
So can you name some entrepreneurs who have an MBA?
If I want to name Ashnir Grover, he was an IIM alumni. So when I followed him, he had many skills that I wanted to learn, to be frank to people, to be very, what we say, taking out your task from the people's mind and delegating the work. That was a very major role that Ashnir Grover helped me in. Also,
but you have mentioned delegating as one of your weaknesses in your application form.
Yes, sir.
So what's the correlation there?
Because I think that people can't do the work that I can put in. So my time, whatever I put in, that I think that has a very difference in quality as compared to the people that put in. So I rather try to not delegate it, because I think that it would be a very difference in the task that is coming in. But after I had experiences that I should delegate some tasks, because I can't take it everything at my end.
So what's your favorite book?
It is Atomic Habits at first. So that changed a major life learning in me, because the task that I was doing in, I was thinking of too much task at a day stretch, and that Atomic Habits taught me to delegate that and break it into smaller goals.
So with Trump coming in as next US president, so what effect you foresee on environmental policies and related to e-vehicles?
E-vehicles is a very major, what we say, technological development in US. Being Elon Musk at task, when I see him, he is very keen in bringing in new technology to the road. Also, Google is pitching in many towards e-vehicles and all. So, considering these founders and these CEOs, there is a very major that it would be the e-vehicle part would be booming very much as compared to. There would not be a major difference even if Trump is coming in. The taxation and that could change, but I don't think a major difference would do because of the people that are working in US.
No, but Trump is not so much into environment and all, right?
Yes, but the technological developments they have did, the Tesla, if we talk about, that is too much, and that is too research based project that can come into road, and I can't think the Trump can stop it or so.
So Vaibhav, you seem to be a very academically inclined individual. You've mentioned a lot of technical aspects about your learning journey as part of your BTech Mechanical Engineering program. Going into an MBA program at our institute will require a different type of skill set to handle the academics and the way we learn. How do you plan to transition from a very technical background into a business background learning?
I have been technical in my academics, but telling you more about, I have been into internships, I have been into family business for a 6 months period, I have been into other beverages for around a year or so, and also I have worked with Orion that I mentioned, a formula student body. So I know the skills that need to be taken care of while considering the aspect of other than academics. Also, I was the student body head at event head in Scream, that is a college sports event. So that all, if I consider, I am able to manage things, but I need to focus on particular at times.
You've expressed here that you're interested in marketing, negotiation, and international business management.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think, in your opinion, is an idol for someone who's a good negotiator? Give me an example.
I haven't been too much into current affairs, but considering, if I consider my directors and all from whom I am learning, I have found a major difference in me, that I can change my attitude, I can change my professionalism that is lacking in me, and I can learn from them.
Any notable or public figure that you would like to state as an example of who's a good
Amit
negotiator?
Gupta.
So what example would you like to cite that?
He is a very good negotiator at times, because the marketing strategy that he brings in into market, I have seen a major. I'm sorry, Aman Gupta, not Amar. I'm sorry. Yeah. My bad. So he has been a very good pitcher in market. He has bring in very aggressive strategies in marketing to bring in the boat company as well.
Why do you want to do your MBA program from our institute?
To be honest, I have heard many things about your institute, considering the peer-to-peer learning, considering the case studies that you bring in, considering the different aspects, the co-curricular things that I want to experience. Also, doing an MBA will change my professionalism that I have seen in your alumni, and I have seen that they are placed at a very good positions in firms and all. So considering that all aspects, I am very keen about it.
Do you have any other opportunities of these schools that you are targeting apart from ours?
I am targeting at IIMs mainly. I am also targeting NIMS Mumbai. So I've got a good score in NMAT as well. It is a 250. I am also planning for XLRI, but it is a bit dicey about the score. And also I am planning for IIFT, because international business, that suits me well.
I think we can conclude. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are done with the interview. Now we'll begin with the feedback. So how do you think it went?
It went good, but I was fumbling at times. I couldn't convey what I was thinking. So I was thinking that should be taken care of in future.
See, overall, I feel it was a very good interview. Right? There are certain aspects you need to work on, definitely. So let's get into that. So what was the first question that we asked you?
It was about myself, so introducing myself.
So it was an opportunity for you to drive the interview in the direction of your strengths. You did a fairly good job on that, right? So you mentioned the Oran racing, and you talked about the VAR project, and there were a lot of questions, follow-up questions based on that, and that is exactly the idea of introduction. But you mentioned, so there are certain things you need to take care of. First of all, right in your introduction, you mentioned you're academically good.
Okay.
Now that is a dicey situation to be in, especially if you're sitting in an IIM interview. Okay, so which college, which university are you from? Somaiya College of Engineering, Mumbai University, right? We have someone from IIT. There's a 10 out of 10 CGPA.
Okay.
99.99%.
So he will be better than me.
So he's better.
He'll be better than me.
And
Correct.
at that point, you can't say that
I'm academically better. Yes, sir.
Right? When you say so, it's somewhat a dicey thing.
Sir, I shouldn't mention it. They should feel it.
It's yes, not a good idea to talk about your strengths.
Okay.
Unless being asked. Because it should, and believe me, you have a lot of things in your CV. Yeah. So you did not specifically say.
Yes, sir.
That. Because it's very obvious.
Correct, sir.
Right? Then you did not talk about your current work experience at all.
In intro.
In introduction, just maybe one sentence, because you have that VAR project.
Yes, sir.
So that is a good enough thing you can talk about. But
yes,
still,
in fact, I had to ask you about your role in your current organization.
Yes, sir.
Right? So that
yes,
should
sir.
not be the case.
Okay. I should
At least you should mention once what you're doing currently, what you're occupied with professionally currently.
Yes, sir.
And you started working there on 1st of January 24, and you finished your degree in May.
Yes, sir.
So the way it would have worked is probably in the last semester you had to do the internship, and then you converted that internship into a full-time job.
Yes, sir.
So mention that. It's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should mention it. Understood.
Because it's, in a way you got a PPO.
Yes, sir.
from there.
Yes, sir. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
should
thing.
I should mention it
Yeah.
clearly
Hmm.
with word. Okay.
In your tell me about yourself answer, what I felt is that you shouldn't have mentioned your NGO, chess. You mentioned a lot of points.
Okay.
I understand that you have a lot of areas to cover in your
Yes,
profile.
sir.
But if you wanted a conversation to be directed in one way,
Yes, sir.
then I didn't feel the relevance of mentioning NGO, chess inclination in the middle of that. Like you could have structured it better. Maybe you could have started with your BTech program, then mentioned about the PPO that you converted
Yes.
as a good thing. Then maybe you could have mentioned about VAV and left it there.
Okay.
I felt that would have been a
Personal
good,
touch.
Yeah.
Actually.
Then you can obviously mention what you like to do in your spare time. You can conclude it with that statement. Usually that is not considered as a hook for the last part of the tell me about yourself answer. If you've spoken a lot about sustainability, innovation, VAV, bike, etc., then the natural response question from our side would be around VAV.
Correct.
Right. So this is how you could have framed it.
And you manufacture, have you prepared at least one bike model
Yes,
or
sir.
something?
Prototype.
So carry the picture.
Yeah.
I have that. Okay. Should I paste it in that or should I carry it? Okay.
Carry it.
Carry it with yourself.
Okay. I'll
Maybe
take
a
it.
picture of you and your team in the competition
Yes,
also
sir.
with the physical prototype
Okay,
of
sir.
the product that you designed. That also you can carry. And definitely a CAD drawing or a blueprint drawing.
Yes,
you
sir.
can definitely carry that.
Schematic diagram I have. So I can...
and keep it with you. If they ask you, then you present.
Yes, sir.
On your own.
On your own.
Understood.
See, for your MBA, okay? So first of all, you are from family background.
Yes, sir.
Or business background.
Business background.
Family business background.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So that is first point. And the second point is your own
Yes, sir.
entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So you can tie these two things together.
Okay.
First of all, why you develop business in the world, interest in the world of business. First of all, you have observed your father
Yes, sir.
working there right since your childhood. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And is he an MBA?
No, sir.
No, and there is a reason why I'm asking this. Okay. So
He has not.
the way you can portray it in the interview, why you develop interest in MBA, why you want to go for MBA.
So I can show the limitation.
One reason is for your father, it was like hardware learning. In a sense, whenever any problem came up, he did that to the best of his ability, tried to solve it to the best of his ability, but not every time it did not work.
Correct.
So it was like a hardware learning for him. Do something with best intentions. Later on, figure out that it was not the best way. Make mistakes and then learn from it. And so many times I have observed my father say that, oh, I wish I had known this earlier. So MBA course is an opportunity for you.
Correct.
To know this theoretical
aspects.
And secondly, for your own entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
So, whenever you talk to those investors or people who funded,
I can show that degree. That will be a good.
And then also, you stood fifth out of those 20, and eventually they selected top 3.
Yes, sir.
So, can you give a little bit of a story that I think I fell short on 1, 2, 3 points?
Okay.
And can I learn something about it? So, try to relate it with it.
Understood. That it can improve.
So, the idea that you want to convey is that you are at a particular stage right now, and there is another place. So, you are at point A, and point B is where you want to be. And B is a bridge gap. So if you can establish that, nothing like it. It's terrific.
You also mentioned some jargons and some phrases like strategic thinking, business planning. Those are good points to mention as part of your why MBA answer. As sir mentioned, link it to the family business as the first level of motivation.
Yes, sir.
Second would be the experiences that you ended up having as part of your own venture. And then link that you want to be somewhere, you mentioned that in your form that you never mentioned it in your answer, right?
Yes,
but you mentioned it here that you want to take your family business to a larger corporate entity. So you have to build up the story around that and complete the chain. Just don't mention that this is what I experienced and that's why MBA. Where do you want to be? How does the MBA take you to where you want to be? As sir mentioned, is also critical to close the loop. right? So do that. You answered the entrepreneurs who are MBA question well. A better example could have been given, but you did recently. When I asked you about your business plan that you have to taking the e-bike to market, you started off a little shakily, but then you came to some price points and you mentioned B2C. You use certain jargons and keywords which were decent, which are expected for you to be doing. But overall, I felt that you are looking very nervous on your face.
Yes, sir.
So maybe it is because of the environment we are in, but try not to show it even if you are feeling it. And there are multiple strategies for that.
I'll practice it more.
Take a sip of water if you want. That's always allowed. And usually be your glass of water in front of you. You can carry a small bottle of water with you. That's totally fine. You can take some natural pauses, take some natural breaths, calm yourself down if you're especially feeling a little nervous and that is coming out in front of you. So make sure that the nervousness is not so evident on your face, because for most of the conversation, it was evident to me that you were looking visibly nervous, which is expected, but with more and more practice, I believe it should be better. Even the answer you gave for Atomic Habits book was a good answer. It's a good book to talk about. But you continue talking about the delegation point only. I believe you could have spoken about a few more takeaways from the book. Not just stuck to the weakness area of delegation, which was the previous question we were discussing about. So you are actually clear on only returning to your venture, your family business, no placements, nothing?
I was thinking that I should tell that I'll take a 1 year or 2 year gap and feel the corporate world and all. But I felt that I can bring in that 2 years of experience into my, and I can change it over time.
Good to see the clarity in you, but don't deviate even with the pressure either.
Yes, sir.
In the conversation.
That's why I thought about it so much, and then
because you didn't mention placements or that kind of corporate industry experience as a reason for in the conversation. You did not mention that in the why this B school reason.
Yes, sir.
So if you're clear about the fact that you want to come back to your venture, then you can mention it. If you're clear.
Okay, sir.
One more point. When the discussion was about so many kgs of CO2, you said you had done some research about it.
Yes.
Right? And once you said, I don't know exact numbers.
Yeah.
So that won't work.
Okay.
So if you say that you have done research, then you better.
And finally, I think the number that you gave for the kg of CO2 for your own e-vehicle as well as e-bikes in general, I don't think that number we were convinced. I was not convinced with what you said as a response, because initially you said 18 kgs and then you said 0.6%, then you said 60%. So there was a little bit of lack of clarity, I felt, in the way that you justified that answer.
I'll study that. Actually, I have placed the research in 2021.
It's
so
okay.
I should study that again.
Because the conversation is steering so much in the direction of this
I should study it.
You also mentioned innovation and sustainability as one of the first few jargons that you used in your entire interview.
Yes, sir.
Then it would be expected of you to know these things about how many kgs of CO2. I'm happy that you were able to answer in terms of kgs of CO2 when we asked you about carbon footprint.
And once you mentioned that you are not too much into current affairs.
Should I mention or not?
No, why do you want to unnecessarily invite others?
That also.
And also professionalism is lacking in me. Are you serious?
Okay.
Don't invite others.
Okay. So I shouldn't mention my weaknesses unless asked. Unless.
And see, even if they ask for your weaknesses, then you find it difficult to delegate. That's fine. That is a good enough weakness. But professionalism is lacking.
That cannot be.
Okay.
That is a very dangerous thing to mention.
Okay. I'll remove it.
Either you be diplomatic about few things, or you don't have to mention such things like professionalism is lacking or something. And speaking of current affairs, I was not really convinced with your response about the EV ecosystem when it came to the Trump question, right? You should do a little bit more research, and you should do a little bit more research about what are the obstacles for the EV infrastructure to be built to that level that is currently there in America, in India. Right? Why we are not able to come to that infrastructural level where there are more, charging stations and everything. So you should do some research, some facts, data points around that as well. Okay. So in the question about why this particular school, you mentioned peer-to-peer learning, alumni.
Yes, sir.
Again, you mentioned professionalism, which was not really expected. I'm happy that you mentioned alumni, but alumni से professionalism नहीं सीख सकते. Like you are linking alumni and the professionalism that you see in those alumni.
Okay.
So, in fact, you can mention some successful entrepreneurial examples of people who have done an MBA from this institute, for example,
Yes, sir.
and they have graduated with an MBA program from here as well, right? So, that's the linkage you could have brought in. Co-curricular activities you mentioned as one of the reasons, but you never deep dived about it. So you just left it there. So if you don't have much to say about a point, better not to mention. You can mention even 2 points, but drill down even more on that. And my final 2 pieces of final feedback. Do you have any questions for us? And what I asked you at the end. You did not conclude well because you said nothing.
Yes,
and
sir.
your attitude in terms of saying no or nothing was also not
Bad.
that great. So always better to have one question at least prepared, or some question that you develop basis the conversation that you had. Right?
Okay.
Only then it looks good or looks a little better in terms of finishing the conversation. Final piece of feedback. I believe that you need to practice a little bit more in front of the mirror,
Yes,
in
sir.
front of your friend, in front of your study group members, because you need to improve your communication skills.
Yes, sir.
Your profile is extremely good in sound, right? You have a lot of good points to talk about. Your clarity about what you want to do, why you want to do an MBA, that is good. The way that you communicate and articulate that piece of information needs to be at the same mark,
Yes,
right? So, communication skills improvement is something that I would offer you as a piece of feedback from the context of this discussion. Apart from that, I think you did a good job in terms of your interview.
Sure.
You mentioned my dad's business. So dad is like an informal word.
Informal word.
So you
Father's
mentioned
business. Father's business.
Yeah. Then the question was why this business? So I have heard many things. This is one of the things you say.
Yes.
Heard many things about it. No.
Okay.
It's not a good answer.
Okay.
So of course this is a mock interview, and so you are not ready with that particular
B school answer.
by this particular piece.
Yes.
But when you go for the actual interview, do some research.
Yes.
There are a lot of clubs and other activities in all the top B schools.
Okay.
There are entrepreneur cells in all the top B schools.
Yes, sir.
Then finance club, marketing club, all these clubs are there.
In fact, many of those clubs, the entrepreneurship cells or clubs, may have the opportunity for calling in investors into those, into those conversations. So you should do some research about them as well.
Yes, sir.
And also, preferably know the names of the groups. So instead of saying that there is a finance club, if you mention there is a beta, so it would show that you are serious
interest about
and you have done some research.
Yes, sir. I'll keep that in mind. For every B school, I'll search about it.
All right. Okay.
Thank you so
so
much. Thank you
All
so
the
much.
best.
Thank you, sir.